Hi and welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of A Brief History of Nothing. I am in fact James.
And I'm the staggeringly handsome Ray.
Staggeringly handsome Ray. Like, do you point it at someone and they become like really hot?
Yes, you just pick me up and aim me at people.
Right, okay.
That had you stumped, didn't it?
Alrighty. Now, there's been a suggestion by a company called QBE Insurance about older drivers should have basically an S plate, like you would have a P plate or an L plate on a car. The older drivers should have an S plate to denote that they are an older driver. And this has caused some controversy.
Yes, yes. National Seniors Australia, I think he might be the CEO, but he's certainly representing them, David Carvoso, says that it would be ageist to put an S plate on a senior driver's car. Really? The QBE floated an idea saying that senior drivers should have be classed S1 or S2, and there should be like a black box type unit fitted to their vehicle, and their driving monitored so they can be, classified whether they're S1 or S2, and then and treated accordingly. Okay, my take on this is he reckons it's ageist. Boo-hoo, David, get over it. As you might tell by the going blonde again, I'm not exactly a teenager. I'm nearly 60. So in a couple of decades, whatever, I'll be getting up into that same classification. Yeah. I know I'm not going to be the wisest person to make the call whether I should give up my license or not, because people being people, they all think that I've been driving for 50 years and I can still drive. No. No. If anybody that's ever been caught behind a senior driver doing about 10 to 20 k's an hour under the speed limit because they're not confident enough to do the speed limit, know that they probably should have handed their licence in at some point. Particularly in metropolitan areas on motorways and things, it can be really dangerous because you're not expecting someone to be tottering along. Like they don't even give the courtesy of being in the left lane a lot of the time. No. Which is even more dangerous because you've got someone in the middle or right lane doing significantly less than the speed limit. That's a problem. That can be a very dangerous... You would meet it more often than I am because you're a taxi driver.
Oh, yeah. And it can be a bit strange. But even like the lane placement, a lot of them isn't. They're starting to. How can I put this nicely? Yeah. Yes, they do need monitoring. Yes. Because I know as you age, your reflexes aren't what they used to be. You're not the person you were 30 years earlier. And your cognitive faculties aren't as, not dementia, but the cognitive faculties, as you... We're not talking about you necessarily, Dad. Yes, well, I remember a case in Dubbo, New South Wales, where an older couple, he had the licence, she didn't have a licence, but he had dementia, so she would tell him how to drive until the police finally pulled him over and pulled him off the road. Yeah, that's... Because people's dementia can just suddenly lose their bearings. Yes, well, and it was in a country town, so dangerous, but not as dangerous as it would have been if it was Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne. That would just be... Yeah, no, you can do a lot more damage. Yes, yes. In that. Yeah. So anyway, give us your thoughts on this. Should senior drivers have to carry some sort of insignia on their car or trade dress on the car? Well, my take on this is that no, I don't think that they should have an S plate. I think there should be some sort of monitoring, but I vehemently disagree with an S plate, like I vehemently disagree with the P plate. To me, all it does is give the police something else to aim at, somebody else to target, and that's just not on, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, well, I think that there should be a P plate for the first 12 months. No, when I went through having Ps, back when the dinosaurs ruled the earth,
No P-plates.
You got to swerve for those Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, yeah, but then you can drive between your legs. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's alright then. Alrighty, okay.
Now, on this day.
On this day, what happened on this day?
Windshield wipers were invented. In 1903. How about that?
They thought, I can't see when it's raining. What do we do about this? Oh, wait.
Yes, well, Mary Anderson obviously had a brainstorm and invented them in 1903. I mean, I can remember driving cars from the 1950s, and I mean, they were old cars when I was driving. I mean, they weren't new when I got them.
Yeah. The Roman Empire had actually fallen.
But in the 1970s, all I could afford were cars from the 1950s.
Yeah, well, all I could afford in the 2000s was cars from the 1980s.
Yes. And they had vacuum wipers. Oh, they are a brilliant invention.
Because you go downhill and they go faster?
Yes. As you go downhill, they just about rocket themselves off the windscreen, and it might be bucketing down with rain, and if you're climbing a hill, it's like...
You're like, oh, crap.
Yes, so you be going uphill, and every now and again you just back off on the throttle whisker. So the wipers... so you could see where you were going.
Yes, well, all the cars I had electric wipers. Had an electric motor for the wipers.
Yeah. Well, I updated. I had enough after about 12 months, and I went out and bought an electric motor off a later model car that I knew could be adapted in, and I adapted it in. So I had single-speed electric wipers.
So in light rain, you would have just completely torn your wiper reflex.
No, it went like that in light rain, and when it bucketed down, it went like that.
See, technology has advanced since then.
Yeah, we don't even have to put our feet through the floor to get the car going anymore.
What, you have an engine?
Woo! It's really good.
Anyway,
on this day in 1928,
Emperor
Hirohito was crowned in Japan. Yes. Now, interesting one. Robert McNamara, in the cabinet of Kennedy and Johnson, stated on this day in 1964 that the US had no plans to send combat troops to Vietnam.
But kind of sent combat troops to Vietnam.
Very shortly after.
Because you've got to get rid of those commies.
It's a domino principle. If you let one country fall to... This was the theory in the 50s and the 60s. They had this theory that the domino principle... If one country fell to communism, that would start a domino. So you had Russia communist, China communist, then, you know, if you had Vietnam go communist, then it would just keep going till it got to Australia or New Zealand or somewhere, and we'd all go communist.
Not that they were paranoid at all.
No, they weren't paranoid. That was lucky. Yes, on this day, big news, on this day in 1969, Sesame Street debuted.
And it's still going. PBS in America is still putting it out.
Yes, and also on this day, Cold War Russian leader Leonid Brezhnev died in 1982. Yeah. Right, birthdays on this day.
Who was born?
Who was born? Martin Luther. Not Martin Luther King, the original one. Martin Luther was born on this day in Germany, in 1483.
Have you heard of the Lutheran Church? That dude.
Yes, that dude. Yes, Russell Johnson, household name. What about the character he played? Roy Hinckley, Professor Roy Hinckley. You know that one, right?
Gilligan's Island.
Yes, the professor from Gilligan's Island. Russell Johnson was born on this day in 1924, and he played the professor on Gilligan's Island. I think he died in 2012. Richard Burton was born on this day in 1925 as Richard Jenkins in Wales.
Yep.
Roy Schneider, who played the sheriff in the movie Jaws. He was born on this day in 1932. Mackenzie Phillips.
Who's Mackenzie Phillips?
She is the daughter of John Phillips, and she played the young girl in American Graffiti.
I've never seen American Graffiti.
Oh, and she also sang on When the Father Reformed Mamas and Papas. She also sang.
Okay.
And
Chris Janelle, who Greek-Australian bassist of a band that a lot of you would have heard of, Silverchair.
Yeah, he was born on this day in 1979. Well, that's us for another night. Okay, have fun. See you on the dark side. We have cookies, and if you like us, share. If you don't like us, then flick this on your friends. Bye.
Bye.